Welcome to Season 3 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs podcast. I'm Tyler. If you're new to the podcast, we are three friends and a producer who like to showcase craft breweries and their beers. Also, we like to end every episode with a short conversation on a variety of different topics. If you're not new to the podcast, well, you know what to expect. The three connoisseurs haven't changed, and the producers are always a wild card. Whether you're new or returning, please feel free to listen to all of our previous content. And remember to follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also, drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now, for today's episode. Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Tyler.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett, and along with us today is producer Chance. That's his name?
Yeah.
Really?
It's either that or Community Chest.
I would have took that.
Wait, you mean we had more than one choice at who the producer was today?
Well, we took a chance on this guy, man.
It played it a joke better, all right?
We'll see how it turns out with Chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in today's episode, along with Chance, we're going to be reviewing Longslice Brewery, which is in Toronto, Ontario.
Yes, and we're going to be having two beers in the episode today. The first is Princess Clementine, which is a fruited sour. And the second is the Metropolitan Pilsner, which you guessed it. It's a Pilsner.
Wow, shock.
I didn't even, propose the question. I just gave you the answer to the question. But yes, it is a Pilsner.
Thanks for explaining that for everybody at home. To finish off the episode, we're going to be taking a trip back in time to discuss retro video games. Be groovy. Okay. Located at 484 Front Street East in Toronto, just outside the Distillery District, is the Longslice Brewery. Now, Longslice tells the tale of hooligans, or some might call them brothers. Some might also think that it's a sandwich shop in the U.S. Jimmy and John.
You ever been to Jimmy John's? That's a great sandwich place in the States. Yeah,
it is.
I've never been.
I'd say better than Firehouse Subs.
Ooh.
Because I know you're a big fan.
Yeah, we actually just had this conversation at work about some of the top sandwich places. But we're not talking about sandwiches, we're talking about beer. So we got Jimmy and John Pete. If I have to say it again, then it becomes a repeat. Originally from Bracebridge, Jimmy and John were the cool kids in high school.
Oh,
now,
wow.
I feel
so
like
humble.
I was going to say, I feel like that's them self-describing, but that's okay. Now, they weren't old enough to buy beer yet, but they were old enough to buy the ingredients to, make the beer. So with some little assistance from their father, a passion for the basement brewing, along with handing over some beers to their friends, kind of was created through this. So a little bit interesting that if you can't buy beer, you make beer.
Find the loophole.
And then you drink beer.
Yeah.
Yep.
We do not encourage underage drinking, even though Jimmy and John have put this on,
Even
blast.
though they're encouraging it.
So it is out there. The information's there.
Well, but they're not necessarily encouraging it. They're just telling the facts, right?
Yeah.
The history.
These are facts.
Spitting facts.
Well, if you fast forward 15 years from their, cool kid days in high school, they mastered the art of brewing, and they wanted their dream to become a reality. Enter their longtime friend, Sebastian Lesch, who is a big fan of Google Sheets, apparently. That's his superpower.
Love a good Google sheet.
Yeah, and apparently he's a bona fide legend.
His words, not ours.
I guess a legend in Google Sheets or something else.
Well,
I don't know.
The Sheets?
okay.
Apparently, yeah, it's probably his turn.
Also self-defined.
Yeah. So Longslice was then born on March 20th, MMXIV, which is 2014 in Roman numerals, but sounds cooler in letters.
It does, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Let's put a pin in that. Fast forward 15 years, because we're going to get to some information about the brewery and some things that we've seen. And I don't know if they've really fast forward 15 years or not.
It's debatable.
Yeah. I think the website's probably stuck in about, 1997?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, originally starting as a
Pull that
contract...
pin out. Brett just got to it. Thanks, Brett.
Look at me. That's what I do. Anyway, originally starting as a contract brewery, the jump to commercial brewing was through their first brew, Hops de la Vista. That was created in Stratford.
Oh.
Yes.
Why'd you point at me?
Because you're from Stratford.
I get it.
So are you.
Yeah. Yes. I'm just saying. All right, anyway, out of the old Stratford brewing location, after the recipe had won the 2013 Toronto Beer Week homebrew competition. And finally, in 2019, Longslice became a full bricks and mortar facility with a fully operational, brew house and everything like that, teaming up with the Doc Ellis, not the pitcher who pitched a perfect game in 1986 in LSD.
That never actually happened.
You watch the documentary?
The LSD thing's in question.
Oh,
yeah. There's a lot of conspiracy whether or not it happened.
Okay,
but
okay.
not that Doc Ellis either way.
Yeah, correct. To create the aviary. All right. So the brew house for Longslice is in the aviary pub.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, take flight.
Well, speaking of that brew house, their beer is brewed in a 20 BBL 2-vessel brew house with 4 40 BBL fermenters and a 40 BBL bright tank. Longslice creates the beers that they want to drink. So no double age, no imperial quads, no smoked IPAs, because frankly, they don't like those. So
Or
that
no
makes sense.
double barrel aged imperial quad smoked IPAs.
Oh, that's all one thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's all one. Could you imagine a brewery trying to make one of those happen?
I wouldn't be shocked at a brewery trying to do something crazy like that.
It is true.
But yeah, I mean, like I love that, right? Like you brew the beers that you want to enjoy because that's how it all started, right? I mean, maybe not, 15 years prior when you're, looking at beers to make in high school, you're probably just drinking whatever the heck you could get your hands on.
Whatever
lattes.
you can make, yeah. They're just making the closest thing to crushable beer they can, probably.
Yeah. So before we kind of get into it then, maybe we should discuss if we've ever been there.
No, I have not been there.
Do I want to go? Absolutely.
For sure. 100%.
Absolutely, I want to go.
And we'll get into some of their content a little bit later on here, but unless you want to talk about it now, Fife, because you like to do that when we say, hey, let's talk about it later, and
then I just pop in.
Then you just talk about it now, yeah.
So the neighborhood that Longslice is originally built in was Athletes Village during the Pan Am Games in 2015 to house the international competitors.
How convenient.
Right? And in 2015, Longslice sent a can of their beer, Hops La Vista, into the stratosphere using a weather balloon in Goderich. Actually.
Interesting.
If you need proof, there is a documentary on YouTube available for your viewing pleasure.
Now, are we sure that it's a weather balloon, or are we thinking that it's a Chinese spy balloon?
I didn't not know that a Chinese spy balloon and weather balloons were similar, but could be.
Have you paid attention to the news?
I have not watched the news lately. I'm not a person who sits there at 6 o'clock with a tea and crumpet watching the news.
Well, there's also news later at night, and they have this new thing called the internet. You can actually get news.
That's
there.
where I get my news.
Well, yeah,
through the internet.
Yeah, it's on there. So, I guess a couple of weeks ago, there was a weather balloon flying over parts of Canada as well as the U.S. And it was determined whether or not it was a weather balloon from China that got loose, or if it was a old-fashioned surveillance technique in which they've also utilized too.
Have drones just went back in age 20 years? Or
There's reasoning behind it, but we can't get into that now.
Okay, fair enough.
And I don't know if you can comprehend it anyway. So
Wow.
We'll just mosey on down the road.
All right. So
speaking of your viewing pleasure,
apparently it's me not comprehending. Anyway.
Longslice also dove themselves into the music promotional video world with such hits as the Klondike Clark. It's a lagered ale. They deliver beer, the Dusk Area, and even a whole series on Hops La Vista itself, which you've kind of mentioned some of the content that they've already kind of rolled out with that. So looking forward to a greatest hits album very soon. We could do maybe a collaboration on like a craft beer connoisseurs Kolsch, do a little music video ourselves. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that would be great. Like before we started recording, we were watching a couple of their videos, and it's just hilarious. Like I
love their content.
They're just being them authentically themselves, which is basically, from what I can gather, they take almost nothing seriously, which is awesome.
Right.
Don't change.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it right now. Don't change.
Yeah, the greatest hit, Pilsner in a podcast. I mean, like, there's so many.
It's like the Whose Line Is It Anyway game where, like, Ryan Stiles and Colin Mocker, like, set him up for something, and then Wayne Brady has to go and sing in a
the
random...
greatest hits.
Yeah, like a random topic. It's hilarious. Anyway.
Yeah. So let's talk about their website then. We kind of touched base a little bit on it. But I feel like it's very important because it sets up the thematic conversation a little bit later on and goes hand in hand with what you were just saying there, Chris, about not taking themselves too seriously. So,
Take the pin fully out of that that conversation there. Yeah.
Let's do that.
I mean, the website is, like we kind of mentioned, looks like it was coded by somebody in the mid-'90s when the internet first became a thing.
It's a straight up 8-bit
Yeah, like I don't know anything about coding, but it just looks like something that I would have visited when I was a little kid and the internet was new. Icons are amazing. It's hilarious. Like,
Who doesn't love a rotating beer can?
Yeah, the rotating
so
beer
cool.
can is so cool. Like, you get to see the whole can art before you buy it to decide whether you want it.
Yeah. It's done in such a great fashion. And then there's little, I don't know, Easter egg types of like throwbacks, right? Some of those would include a counter of how many visitors on the website.
Yes.
That's just a running number.
Which is never static, yeah.
A direct link to Netscape.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
Also, the headshots that they've created are amazing.
I would think they're more like portraits.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
I think we need portraits of ourselves, just like what they're doing on their website.
It's almost like that could be knitted into a sweater.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that.
I think we should, as part of our Instagram promotion of this episode, maybe show those. No, not of us.
Okay. It's like, you want to do like our portraits or similar? With
No,
like a little...
show the photos of Jimmy and John and with
Sebastian?
Sebastian, right? Yeah.
All right. Brett, why don't you get talking about some of the beers here?
Yes.
Chance
So-
is telling us to wrap this up a little bit.
Well, you know what? Chance can just stay over there. Okay. So they only have 19 beers created on Untapped, again, according to Untapped, but over 20,000 check-ins, and the beers have an average rating of 3.52 out of 5. In terms of beers that we've had, I have had 3. One of them is one of the ones we're having on today's episode, but I'll go through the other 2 I've had, which is the Sky Bison, which is an APA, and then the Hops de la Vista. You guys scores on terms of beers that you guys have had from Longslice?
Yep, that's a 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody else.
A
0.
winner, Genyo.
Yeah, I saw you puff up your chest when this slide came. I was like, he is so proud.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him.
Anyway, so some of the beers that we've been missing out on include the Loose Lips Lager, the Klondike Clark, it's a Lagerdale, the Whitney Spears, it's a wit beer, the Slickback Stout, so sometimes when my hair gets long, it's a little slick back, have that, and the Hotline Plaza Juicy Pale Ale.
There you go.
So also funny names.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Great job on the naming. So Longslice, along with the Aviary, are big on 4 things. So these are I guess we'll call it, these are the 4 things that they take seriously, maybe. Sports, community, amazing grub, and craft beer.
Those are 4 good things, yeah.
4 great things that make a great combination, right?
The foundation of success. Delivery available Toronto-wide as long as you have M. That is an M postal code Monday through Friday and have an order of over $20. I love that about Toronto.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Longslice for getting us the beers even outside of their regular delivery area. We do not have an M.
No, none of us have an M. No.
But
So-
they still found a way to get us beers.
That's very nice. And now the bottle shop is open every day, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Avery is the everyday 11 a.m. to midnight, so a little bit different. So if you can't make it to the bottle shop, then you've got a second location you can hit up there. So.
Awesome. Well, we're going to link to their information as usual. So if you do have an M postal code, you can order beer from them. And if not, you're going to have to drive to Toronto.
Well, we don't have to, because we have the beers in our hands, and we're going to have the first one right now.
Okay, so first beer time.
Oh, yeah. Thirsty.
Yeah, me too. I'm very thirsty for some reason today. We want to thank Jimmy from Longslice for sending the beers for
thanks,
today's
Jimmy.
episode. Now, mind you, some of the beers do have some dents in it, and we're okay with that because the content inside will not be affected by said dent.
No.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's true.
And if it is, we can blame it on the dent.
Yeah. And so kind of bailed us out on this, right? Because we were reaching out and trying to get some beers for the episode. And so we got this one just in the nick of time for recording,
He hooked us up.
which is great to see. The first beer that we're having is Princess Clementine, which is a kettle sour. It's 5% ABV and 10 IBUs. I'm excited for this.
Yes, I know you are.
I am.
So this is their staple core LCBO beer. That is a kettle wheat sour brewed with the crown jewels of the citrus world, clementines.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you think there's like a crown jewels of the citrus world? I don't know. But we'll go with that. Brewed with Canadian 2-row and wheat malt, it's lightly sour and effervescent with notes of mimosas and fresh squeezed orange juice. It is described as a perfect blend of both the sourness from the citrus fruit along with the sourness of the beer itself.
Nice. Well, as always, you can follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons and on Untapped at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. The rating on Untapped for this Princess Clementine is 3.63 overall out of 5 bottle caps with just over 1,100 check-ins.
Very nice. All right, let's grab our cans and our glass. And let's open her up. Oh, my gosh.
A little splish splash.
I was taking a bath.
A little citrus in the eye.
A little bit. Freshly squeezed Clementine.
Well, as this is a sour, we are drinking it out of a tulip glass today. So make sure to use your proper glassware.
Very nice, very nice. Good pours, good pours. Everybody's doing all right?
I'm doing excellent.
Great,
actually.
great.
Yes. Producer Chance over there.
Doing
Excellent
fine.
as well.
Doing fine. So some information on this. Let's see here. We've got a lot of information getting put down by Chance here. So 32 5 out of 5s on this.
Nice.
And in the can, it was a 3.62 with 862 ratings on that. So,
Most people have had it in the can.
a new correction. It's not actually 32, it's 30. So,
Little fat finger
I was
syndrome.
just going to say old fat fingers.
That counter went back to.
Yeah. Deleted two of them. What do you guys see here for this? What do you guys got? Anything?
Looks orange.
Yes, it's definitely a orangish beer. You can definitely get the strong note of the Clementine on the nose. That is
Yeah.
for damn sure.
Almost reminds me of Satsuma. We've been down this road before, and I
Really?
won't go down it again.
I was going to say almost like an orange crush smell.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
And I
very
do
much
love
so.
Orange Crush.
Yeah.
Okay, just in case you guys want to send a case of Orange Crush to Brett, he does enjoy
His
it.
address is.
His direct
No, I have
address.
the Orange Crush packet, put it in the soda stream. Makes orange pop with sugar. It's great.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that. All the flavor, none of the sugar.
You're so healthy.
This guy's out here giving
I'm
pro.
a bill of physical fitness here, let me tell you.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, good color on it, good smell on it. I think we should just drink it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, right? So you guys,
so. Oh,
you-
can I
why don't
get
you
into
guys take some sips?
Oh,
I
thank
know,
you so
I know,
much.
Tyler is a big fan of the sours, so I know, and
of
orange.
mimosas.
We love your orange, so
Yeah, and the thing, too, is we're in some of the coldest time of the year here,
yeah.
and you're not really going to a sour too often in this weather.
Correct?
So I missed it. It's like giving me a summer boost.
And how cool that the brewery, like this is a brewery that has a sour as basically their number one core beer. You don't see that too often either.
Right.
Yep.
That's why I like it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, imagine throwing these to high school parties back in the day.
Yeah, I don't think they were brewing the Clementine sours back
You
in the day.
don't know that.
What do you guys think of it?
Well, I think it's got a nice taste. A little acidic, obviously, because it's sour, but
Yep.
For the most part, I'm definitely getting the Clementine flavor off of it. Easily.
Yeah, and it's not overly sour either. I don't think.
No, not at all. Like I thought it'd be a little bit more like tart, and
Yeah.
I'm not getting it. It's
I think it almost be more like that champagne kind of vibe because of the mimosas, or no?
well, yeah. I don't think it's the mimosa aspect of it. It's just it's just very very kind of tart.
Yeah, I mean, I think the kind of the carbonation in it kind of gives it that mimosa feel, right? Because as the carbonation with the orange juice flavor or clementine flavor. But yeah, I agree with you, Brett. Tons of acid on this one, very acidic,
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
do we want to talk a little bit about the can?
Yes, I will talk. I mean, I always screw this part up. Do you want to talk about the can? Because I apparently cannot talk about cans anymore.
No, I think you go and we'll correct you. as
You
needed.
just tell us what you see, and then we'll tell you if we see something different.
yeah.
It says Clementine sour, long slice. So it is a Clementine cut up in half. I'm trying to say, it looks like the skyline of Hogwarts. I know it's probably not Hogwarts at all, but
So can we think about this logically
Think about the video game
and think
idea.
about the name of the beer?
Yeah.
oh yes,
Princess Clementine is almost like a play on Princess Peach. And then you might have, like, I don't know, in that game, like a Bowser, maybe he's got a castle. I don't know. Just a couple things.
Something like that,
I
right?
thought we were
Spitball
supposed
it.
to have producer Donkey Kong on today's episode. And we'd have Chance instead. I get where we're going here. Anyway, there is a nice, would say, wand with a peach. Almost looks like a peach on top.
Could be a Clementine, maybe.
Could be a Clementine. You're right. Who knows? Right?
Open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Some diamond jewels.
Yeah.
Right? Very, very strong can. Also, they do have the, if you want to try the Dreamsicle beer cocktail with their birthday cake it, and this one. And let's just be serious. Aren't you glad? Aren't. God, English, not good. Aren't you glad they didn't brew banana?
All right, so the top 5. No, that's good. Good job.
Yeah, you don't want bananas in this beer because I know you hate bananas.
Well, yeah.
Well, then it would be a banana sour.
For sure.
Hey, have you ever had a banana sour?
No,
Like straight
I don't
on
believe
banana?
I have.
No.
I've had a banana spoil.
What about a banana split? Banana split? No.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get to the top 5 flavor profiles. I'll go with these. Number 1, Clementine.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say 100%.
Number 2, citrus.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing as Clementine, but yes.
Number 3, sour.
In the top 5, but not number 3 for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 4, tart.
I guess that is number 4. It can probably stay there, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty similar to sour, right?
Yeah. Number 5, acidic.
And that's the one that would move up to number 3 for me.
There you go.
Yeah, I think all 5 of these are fine. I don't think there's really, like, if I was doing this, I might only do 3 and just do like Clementine, acidic, sour. Because there's not like a ton of different flavors. It's pretty, easy to pick out what's there.
Producer Chance coming in with crushable.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's crushable.
I mean, definitely on a hot day, right? Yeah.
Anyway, we're done with Chance's thoughts. Let's talk about other people that use Untapped and their thoughts on this beer. And Tyler, you have the first one.
Yeah, I do. So we've got Renee or Ren, maybe.
We'll go with Renee.
Yeah. E, handle, a huge nerd. I love the little snicker. On January 14th, 2023 said, do you like Clementines? Yes. How do you feel about mashing one in your face? Still cool. This is your brew. It is a Clementine forward with a side of citrus.
What?
Not too sour, but definitely a bit tart and acidic, like Clementines. Thank you.
Thanks, Renee.
3.5 out of 5.
Lots of insight there.
Yeah.
So the next one comes from Plant. and the handle is Beer Tenga on December 7th said, while watching Ice Age, don't know which number, stated, light and nice, really nailed the Clementine. This would be so crushable on a warm summer's day. Really quite tasty. And Plant gave it a 3.75 out of 5.
There you go. So I'm over here just kind of photosynthesizing what I feel.
Nice.
And
That's a lover of plants, right?
yeah, huge lover. I'm going to start us off, and I'm going to give it a 3.75. It says what it is. You get the kettled sour version of like the flavors coming through, as well as the Clementine. A solid beer.
Yeah, I'm going to be right there with you at 3.75. This might sound weird to say, but I almost think that there could be more Clementine flavor in it.
Interesting. So this is one of the beers I've had prior to the episode, and I rated it a 3.75, and I am keeping it at the 3.75. Producer Chance also giving it a 3.75.
Wow.
Okay, this math
This is gonna
gonna
be hard to screw
mind-blowing
up,
here.
yeah.
Oh my god!
You know what,
Hey, can I
Brett?
take it? Can I take a chance on
I
it?
was just going to say, we don't usually give you the opportunity. So
Can I
go
take a
ahead.
chance at this one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 3.75.
Yeah, we're going to not round that up or down.
Yep. Just
Same.
keep it where it is.
Oh,
All right.
nailed it!
All right. Great job, Brett. We're going to celebrate your math skills, and we're going to go on to beer number 2.
Woo!
The second long slice beer we're going to have today is called the Metropolitan Pilsner, which, of course, is an Italian Pilsner. So this one comes in at 5.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like,
Okay.
of course Metropolitan.
it is.
Of course,
it's Italian.
Of course,
Downtown
it's a
Italy.
Pilsner,
Yes.
but it's also an Italian Pilsner.
Roma.
Okay.
It's
Metropolitan.
listed as.
Yes.
I love that. Of course it is.
Yes.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Anyway, I meant it was, of course, a Pilsner. Yeah. All right. So it comes in at 5% ABV and 19 IBUs.
Listen, if we're talking and we make fun of Brett for Hogwarts, we have to call you out in the Metropolitan part.
You are not
Fair.
comprehending that very good. Okay.
I know. My comprehension skills are poor.
Yeah. All right. So this beer is brewed with soft water.
As opposed to hard.
Yeah, giving it a soft, bready palate with a large whirlpool addition of Saz and Tenang, along with Hercules, giving it subtle notes of straw and grass. So if that doesn't speak to Metropolitan, big straw grass, I don't know what does.
I mean, yeah, that sounds like big city to me.
Yes, and so
I think it sounds like old Toronto.
well, we'll get to that in a second. So it also utilizes the Pilsner malts naturally and the dextro pills. So that's where we're going to come up with this.
I will say, I don't think I've heard of the Tetnang and Hercules hops before.
You have now. All right. So,
Well, no, I'm glad that you mentioned that because
Yeah.
we do some hop education here, and
Yeah.
those are ones that we don't really see often. So
maybe Chance
point
can look up and give you the flavor profiles on the Saz and Tetnang.
no, we know.
Well,
we
we've
know
heard
the
of
Saz.
Saz, just
yes,
not
I know
The
you've heard of
Tetnang
Tetnang and
the
Hercules.
Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
Tetnang
well,
and Hercules.
You didn't comprehend.
Yeah.
No, apparently
What
not.
we were talking.
Oh, boy. All right. Anyway, so the Metropolitan Pilsner is a collaboration with the Old Toronto series and features 10, that's right, 10 different collectible cans with a snapshot of pictures from everyday life in Old Toronto. So some of these include the beach, CN Tower, and we also have a few cans. We have 4 different cans here.
Yeah, they sent us 4 different pictures, which is nice.
These are really nice. Sorry
Yes,
to
they're-
kind of
yeah.
interject, but like these cans, if I could have like, I don't know, put a little drill hole in the bottom and just bled out the beer and kept just the cans intact, they're nice cans. Like they are.
So what we'll do, I think, and I'll make Chance do it because, he has to do something, is you'll see the one in the main picture, but we'll also give the other pictures of the other cans that we have because we have 4 different cans here. So Chris, do you want to describe kind of your can first before we...
Yeah, and as I always say, just jam out with your can out.
Yes, which is what the koozie says, right? So mine is a picture of Yonge and Richmond, of course, in downtown Toronto from the 1950s.
So I have a picture of the Toronto skyline from the 1950s. No CN Tower, no Rogers Centre, just, a lot of simple and bare compared to where it is now, right?
Yeah. I thought for some reason you were going to go ahead and say like it was some like Italian place, even though we've already said it was all Toronto.
It's actually the old spaghetti factory now.
And then conversely, if we kind of do a little bit of a look at producer chances, we've got Center Island Ferry in the 1990s. So this is probably the most recent one that we've got.
I think so.
It does have the big pointy and the dome. So
Yeah.
that is there. And then for my can, I've got New City Hall in the 1960s. Very nice. I get you to describe the can, but it's okay.
I believe it's a new city hall from the 1960s.
It's Nathan Phillips Square.
It is Nathan Phillips Square. So, you can stay at the Radissons there, and it overlooks the Nathan Phillips Square as well as the new City Hall.
So on Untappd for this Metropolitan Pilsner, there is an average rating of 3.65 out of 5 with just 41 check-ins so far. And there is alone just one 5 out of 5.
Very good. All right. Let's grab our cans. Let's grab our glasses and our old Toronto can here. Let's open her up. Ooh, but I saw a little splash come my way.
You are getting splashed
No,
all
from
day.
you. I feel like I'm in.
I didn't get anything this way.
What is that? Marineland splash zone.
All right, so
Thanks, Chris, for the laughter.
no, I know what you're talking
I
about.
appreciate that.
So this is a Pilsner, an Italian Pilsner.
Metropolitan, someone.
A Metropolitan
Okay.
Italian Pilsner, yeah. So we are drinking this out of a pint glass today, so make sure to use your proper glassware.
Well, what do we see here, gentlemen?
Oh, I'm seeing a nice golden color.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. And you see right through it, which is beautiful.
I swear I can see Chance right through my beer.
Like I'm
Do you want to?
Here's looking at you, kid. Quite literally. I can see you. Nice carbonation. Yeah.
Yeah, that head is just settling very nicely with those bubbles coming right up.
Yeah.
Exactly what you want to look for in a Pilsner.
Just a small head, nothing too crazy.
Bready on the nose. Kind of nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I'm excited for it. I mean, we've had some Pilsners before and it went up, but this looks very clean, very nice.
I was just going to say, looking at it, I would say we're probably going to say it's clean on the taste.
Ooh. Well, let's talk.
Speaking of the taste,
Let's get into it, eh?
Sure.
All right, you guys go ahead. I'll just watch you drink a little bit here, but yeah, really on the nose. I'm really picking this up, which is good. So, yeah.
okay,
All right.
definitely getting the grassiness
Yeah.
out of this, I think, and that straw.
Straw, yeah.
Some might use it as earthy, perhaps.
Yeah, it is pretty earthy. And I mean, earthy is kind of the overall kind of thing I'm getting, and then straw and grassy is kind of a bit more detailed, right, into that
Yeah,
description.
crisp and clean, though.
So,
Oh,
in terms of like Pilsners, right? Like, there's different types of Pilsners that we've had before. The Italian Pilsner, I feel like it is more. There's more of a punch to it. You know what I mean? There's a strong flavor profile that comes with like an Italian Pilsner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you guys
sometimes
concur
for the
with that?
good, sometimes for the bad.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is balanced.
It
Like,
is.
I feel like it's a fairly balanced beer. I don't think I'm kind of getting thrown off by it. I'm getting some pretty high bready notes in it as well.
Yes. Also feel like I'm getting a little bit on the end of like a honey flavor. I don't know if any of you are getting that.
Let me take another sip and see.
There's like a sweetness to it, or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
I agree with you. I don't know if it's like maybe more like a graham cracker kind of esque, like a
Right.
like a honey glazed kind of graham cracker.
Yeah,
I was going to go like honeycomb, like the cereal.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a sweet bread kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. But yeah, there is a tinge of sweetness on the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pleasant, right? Like
Oh,
it's,
totally.
I think
Yeah.
it changes the way that the initial flavor profile is at the very beginning. So I feel like it has legs, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of walking through a different kind of perspective here. It's very bready up front. There's some earthy undertones, and then it finishes very nicely with a bit of that sweetness.
I feel like the beer is almost trying to tell you a whole story, kind of like what the canning and the collaboration here between the old Trial Series. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not just the straight throughout, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it does change. But overall, just I think a pretty well done beer and really really nice.
All right. So, top 5 flavor profiles. Who wants to do these? I did the last one. Brett has fired his hand up. It says, take a chance.
See my hand?
The
See my hand right here?
on me.
The old raise my hand.
Yeah.
I even pointed at my hand too, so you knew I was raising it.
Little Brett in the back.
Oh, yes. Number
Go
one, bread.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know number one?
Completely agree with that. And I like to see that, especially because it's an Italian Pilsner. Good breads in Italy.
It's true. Number 2, light.
Yeah. It's a light beer.
I would agree with that.
Number 3, crisp.
It is crisp, but I've had crisper pilsners
I've
before.
had crispers as well.
I was going to say all dressed, barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue
ranch.
for sure. Yeah.
Ranch, yeah.
Yeah, to kind of go back on the light, I don't want to say that it's light in flavor because it's certainly not.
No,
but
no.
it is. It's the way that it finishes. It's a Pilsner. It is light. The crispness, I would agree with you, Chris. On that.
The Christmas?
Crispness.
Crisp. Yeah. Even I got it.
Get a little-
comprehend it, Chris.
Right.
Come on.
Get a little stuffy in here. A little
Number
mucusy.
4, grassy.
Yes.
Yeah,
th-
there's earthy undertones.
honestly, it's kind of I'm getting it less and less as I drink more of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
And number 5, carbonated.
Certainly is.
Yes.
But it's not overly carbonated. Like it's a nice Pilsner, but I don't think it's like hugely carbonated.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think so either.
Right.
So producer Chance coming in with maybe some things that could replace carbonated. It's like straw-like, balanced, crushable, sweet.
Yeah, I would definitely add sweet in there. Again, I might be even more specific and say that honey because that really
Right.
is kind of sticking out to me. And then probably something related to straw.
Yeah, I like balanced because I do think it is balanced. It's different flavors throughout, but that's what I think is kind of like the balance aspect of it.
Yeah.
Crushable. I mean, it's a Pilsner, But again, I don't know if I'd want to have too many of these. Like 3, maybe.
Yeah.
1 or 2, probably good. Just because it has a lot of flavor to it. Right?
Yeah, it
And
does.
So it is nice, but I wouldn't sit here and I don't want to slam this back. Like I actually want to sit here and actually
just
enjoy
enjoy
it,
it,
right? Like
yeah.
so
I think I would probably at least buy 10 cans of it. Hopefully make it, get every single one of them. You got to catch them all, right?
Oh, you mean like you want each of the different
Yes,
cans?
thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
This guy says, hopefully get them all. But I mean, if you go into the bottle shop,
You can pick,
actually
yeah.
pick the ones that you
And
want.
producer Chance was like, why would you
Chance
get 10
was
of
like,
these?
what are you talking
What
about?
are
Why
you
10?
And then the light bulb went off.
Yeah.
And it was like,
They would
got
look
it.
nice on a shelf. Like
They would,
that's what I was
yeah.
going with a little bit earlier.
Well,
on.
we're
So,
40% of the way there.
there you go.
It's true. Only 6 more.
Do we dare
Great
get the other
math.
6? Thoughts from untapped users. Let's see what they think about this beer.
Yes.
And we did mention a 5 out of 5, and that might come up later on.
Yeah. So the
Put a
first one
pin
is,
in it.
So the first one is from Mike D, and his handle is Shin Triad. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but we'll go with that.
That's how I would have said
Okay,
it.
good comprehension. On February 1st, stated, love the old Toronto packaging and concept. Not sure cans are that collectible, but hey, I disagree. I think they're very collectible. As a Pilsner, it's basically middling. A couple more IBUs would punch it up. Huh, interesting. I think maybe you need to have a little bit more knowledge. Yeah, 3.25 out of 5.
Oh, shots fired at Mike. Oh, my God.
I don't think raising the IBUs too is going to...
Yeah, usually
more punch to it.
not something you see in a Pilsner is high IBUs. So, all right. Well, so the next one comes from Brian C. Handle is Bry Camp B. On January 14th, stated 5 caps for this Pilsner. Easy drinking, flavorful, and lightly carbonated. So, as we kind of teased, this is the 5 out of 5 from Brian for this beer. The only 5 out of 5.
But what are you going to give it, Chris?
So I will not be giving it a 5 out of 5. But I will say this is, probably one of the better Pilsners that I've had, to be honest.
Yep.
I'm actually going to go higher than I would normally for a Pilsner and give it a 4.
So normally for a Pilsner, you give it a 3.75?
3.5, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
usually around
half
there,
a point
yeah.
higher. Look at you go.
Yeah.
I am going to give this one. So I'm going to say the last Italian Pilsner I had left a very, very bad taste in my mouth. So I'm glad this is kind of recollected the Italian Pilsners for
Was
me.
that the tube sock one?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. I'm not going to name the brewery or the beer, but it was not good. I'm going to give this one a 3.75.
Yeah. So, Chris, I'm right there with you, which
Yeah.
is not really much of a surprise, I'm sure, for a lot of the listeners that are at home. But I am going to give it a 4. I'm pleasantly surprised. It's got some good flavor, and I like how it kind of transforms throughout, which is very nice.
Yeah.
And producer Chance is going to give it a 3.75. So 2 3.75s and 2 4s. Chris, what's that get us?
So overall, that's giving us a 3.875, which we will round up to a 4
Heck
overall.
yeah.
Yes.
Totally cool, rad, dude.
Speaking of cool, I guess we're going to go to our next topic, but that concludes the review of Long Slice and the beers that they provided for today's episode.
Very good. So up next, we discuss the rad games we used to play as kids. All right, producer Chance, you can calm down on that fingering you doing on that keyboard.
Sorry?
You heard me. What? All right, so after going on Longslice Brewery's website, which we previously discussed, actually in the first segment of this, which seems like so long ago.
Oh, it was such a long time ago.
Like way back in the 90s.
It was like 30 minutes ago.
And I'm going to be hip and cool when I say this, and viewing their socials.
Oh.
It was evident that the vibe was retro and rad.
You sound so cool.
I was the coolest kid.
no,
I was one of the
no,
coolest
no.
kids in high school.
I bet.
Did you brew beer and bring them to parties?
No.
Then maybe you weren't. No, I'm kidding.
So, as such, in true 8-bit fashion, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, let's have a discussion on video games, consoles that we had kind of growing up. And I picked this topic, and I knew that we've kind of had this conversation a little bit bleed into some of the other ones that we talked about, but we haven't really had a wholesome conversation. And I implore every individual that listens to this, implore, big word, you could go ahead and check out their website because you have to do it.
You need to do it.
You have to do it. It's got
It's
like
so
a very
funny.
like Grand Theft Auto very first
Oh,
the very
yeah.
first one. This like it's like sunset or sunrise kind of theme to it. Bleeds through it. I love it. You guys are killing it. It's great.
Someone called that Miami Vice kind of theme.
It's kind of Miami Vice. Yeah.
And also, implore means to beg or ask someone earnestly. Oh, okay, good enough.
God, Brett, I love
Brett,
it.
is that what you do while we record? You're just on dictionary.com?
Thesaurus stuck?
Actually, I did like not 1990s technology, more like 2023. I used this thing called Google.
Oh.
And
Brett,
put in the word and the meaning just
That's
to make
funny.
sure that I had it.
you
down pat.
told him about the Google machine.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. The
I
Google
love
machine.
that, Brett, and I love you too. You didn't say it, but I
I
know
love you
feel
too.
it.
Don't worry.
All right.
I'll say it. It's fine.
There you go. So let's talk about maybe our first gaming system that we owned. We'll do it in very craft beer connoisseur fashion. Do you guys want me to start, and then we'll kind of work around the table?
Yep, I think so.
All right. So the very first system that I can recall is the NES, the very first Nintendo that was out there, cartridge system.
Yep.
That thing was a thing of beauty. And we'll kind of get into some of the games that we played first. But I was very fortunate growing up that, video games have always been part of my life. And I call that very fortunate because we had very different systems. And some individuals didn't. But the NES was the very first one. And maybe that shows my age a little bit because as I look up at the script here, we move on to producer Chance. And theirs was the N64 was the very first gaming system that they had.
So a little later.
A little later.
Yeah.
Which-
a little more advanced.
Well, the system was, but I don't know
Yes.
about the person. Let's
Oh, well, yes,
keep
the
it,
system.
Keep it
yeah.
tight, buddy. Here, all right. N64. Chris, what did you grow up with?
So I guess technically the first system I had was the PS1, but I also had a lot of people call it the NES. We used to call it just original Nintendo.
Sure.
And so I remember buying that used off a friend at school. So at one point I had the original Nintendo and the PlayStation 1 at the same time.
But
How trustworthy was that friend?
What do you mean?
Like, the system didn't come with like the Burger King menu on top. Like you see those Googles and TikToks and all that stuff. No, like it actually worked. The system worked.
Yeah.
You didn't get decoyed at all.
No, it worked.
Right.
Yeah.
So you didn't have it at the time that it was original? You
No,
had
I
it
did
later
not.
on?
I had it later. Yeah.
Okay, PS1. God, memories.
Mine's also an N64 for sure. And I'll get into the games in a little bit. But first system I had was N64.
Okay, cool. Cool dude, bro. Games you first played. So I'll kind of go into a little bit of mine, and then maybe Chris, you can pick up producers. That way,
Sure.
we just kind of keep it entertaining. People don't need to listen to me kind of ramble on. So on the NES, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Rad, cool, dude.
Thanks.
They
man.
had an NES game for that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember playing it. Again, it was kind of like 6-8-bit kind of. I don't know if that means.
I think you
anything to
needed
guys.
another friend to buy that game off of. Chris.
Yeah.
I just remember like going down like a hallway and there was like fire that would come down at you and you had to like dodge that as a whole thing. All the Super Mario Brothers, like all of them, 1, 2, and probably 3 was one of the best. That's up for debate. The third one that I mentioned on here is actually very interesting because just kind of preface this. We were never allowed guns in the house in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form. Water guns, none of that stuff. No weapons. But yet,
Except for
we had duck hunt and we had the gun,
which had a massive orange gun.
yeah, and it was amazing, and we love that. There are some secrets to duck hunt if you have or have not played it before. The technology behind it was very simple, but really kind of cool.
I was gonna say, like, you think back, when did that come out? In the mid '80s, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's
go
when
ahead.
NES
Yeah.
came out, right? And
Yeah, like 86, 87, sure.
and like you were shooting a gun at a terrible TV, and it still understood where you were shooting for the most part.
Yeah, the technology is really good on it. And if you had a player 2, if you didn't know this, the player 2 actually controlled the duck. So as it was
Oh, really?
flying, you use the direction pad and you could control where the duck was flying.
I did not know that.
There's a really good episode on another podcast, Stuff You Should Know, that actually talks about that as well. So maybe give them a listen.
Why he knows it.
No,
he
I
listen?
played it. And they said it. I was like, yeah, I knew that. And Donkey Kong was a huge one on NES. Producer Chance. Chris, why don't you tell us what Producer Chance used to play?
Yeah, so on his N64, big fan of Donkey Kong 64, Pokemon Snap. I'm not familiar with that one.
I am, yep.
Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. That's a N64 staple.
Classic.
And so is GoldenEye. That was that 007
Just made a
game.
comeback.
I was just going to say, fun fact about GoldenEye, it's being re-released in its entirety of what it actually was.
Oh, really?
A little bit upgraded, but it's the same,
Restored, kind of.
very much the
Well,
same.
speaking of that, I have like the so Nintendo created like the NES and the Super Nintendo with the games like loaded in. So we have the NES version, which is pretty cool to play that every once in a while. A little nostalgia.
So for me, because
Oh, what about me?
No, nobody cares. No, okay, go ahead.
There's still some more that's listed there, too. But
Well, that's on his
a little bit later on.
PS3.
Yeah, it's a little bit later on.
Yeah, that's later in life, right?
Come on.
So, anyways, for me, like a lot on my NES, kind of the same games, Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers, of course, and then on my PlayStation 1, always Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
That was awesome. And then I had like
Spyro?
every what?
Did you have Spyro?
No.
No, just Crash Bandicoot, eh?
Yeah, and then every NHL game from like 1994 on, basically.
Nice.
So in terms of me, mostly I played N64 with my cousins, and then my brother, because I'm a lot younger than them. So I was kind of privy to games that maybe I should have been playing when I was 7 or 8. So GoldenEye was one of them. The game that was probably okay was Triple Play 2000.
Yes.
Jim Houston, Buck Martinez on the commentary. Great commentary, let me tell you.
Was Manny on the cover of that one?
Sammy Sosa, I'm pretty
Sammy
sure.
Sosa, okay.
And then, some WWF Warzone, WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy. Just beating people up.
WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I'm like a good 20 years back.
Yeah, I know.
Rewind the clock.
I would have been 7 or 8 at the time. That'd be the first gaming system I would have played on.
Yeah, I love
so
that.
it's right.
No, I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing that. All right, some of the arcade games. I kind of got into this myself a little bit. And Producer Chance did make some comments about in school. We've talked offline about this many a times. Carmen Sandiego, like where in the world is Carmen Sandiego on PC?
I still remember that song.
All right.
Yeah.
And Cross Country Canada was the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever find Carmen Sandiego?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Found
Where
Carmen all
where
the
was
time.
she? In
Where
the
was she?
world?
All over the place. It depends if you had the ruby. It was a whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking
Good.
about currency.
I'm glad she was found.
Yeah.
I didn't get an Amber Alert for that, so I'm glad to hear.
Cross Country Canada was the same sort of thing, right? Like I
yes,
remember
that goes into mine,
we
but-
could not, and I've told you guys this too, we could not continue to play Cross Country Canada unless we took it like a test. We had to do a flag test. We had to do
And flight tests have changed in the last 20 years.
No,
4 years, but I get your point.
No, like flag tests. We had to do like location tests. So we had to know where the nickel was obviously going to be Sudbury. Like we had to do that for both where's the world, Carmen Sandiego,
Little
and
geography.
Yeah. Word Muncher's huge. Yeah. I love that one too. Arcade games. This is a little bit of nostalgia. I remember going up to Solid Beach, my grandparents' trailer, and they had a pool there. And in the lobby of the pool, there was always arcade games. So we used to play Street Fighter or Tekken, or my favorite was always Golden Axe. I don't know why. It was just like small little characters that were slamming around with their little axes, and you get little power ups. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So Chance played Pac-Man.
Good job.
Little
Good job,
Pac-Man on
Chance.
there.
Good job, Chance. Probably was arcades probably running around when Chance came out.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, I didn't play a lot of arcade games. Yeah, Chance just put this in pinball. So I'm a big fan of pinball. Even today, I would love to play some pinball. But also a little bit of Golden Tee.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Some Golden
Slam that
Tee.
forward,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
And that's about it for arcade games for me.
Yeah, mine was Golden Tee as well.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give some honorable mentions. Magic Circus on when you were in school. No, nobody played that.
Math Circus.
Sure, that's one. That's what it is.
There's Math Circus when you'd go ahead and you do the seal with the ball.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And then also like all the right type. I mean, like
All the right
come
time.
on. You type, you get it, and then you get to play a game afterwards. It was a good reward system back in the day.
Pavlov would have loved you. All right.
That's it. Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah.
So, you know what? We were kicking it old school, and here we are, new school with a podcast. So,
We'll put out a poll, see what other people are playing too, right?
yeah,
Oh, for sure.
You want to do a poll? You want Chance to do a poll?
Chance.
Take a chance on me. All right. Chance, you got a poll. All right. That's it. That's all.
I think so.
Thanks for sticking with us. We'll be back with our conclusions and stay cool. That is going to conclude today's episode.
Thank you again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as the Craft Beer Connoisseurs release a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for a producer special.
And make sure to tell your friends, family, and your favorite retro video game character.
There you go. So from all of us and producer Chance, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.